All right, thanks, Larry. EA Sports coverage of the NFL brings us to the heart of Texas and NRG Stadium in Houston. Straight ahead, a rematch of Super Bowl 48, and it should be a good one, between the Seattle Seahawks and the Denver Broncos. Here we go in a rematch of Super Bowl 48. The Seahawks and Broncos are underway. That'll be taken in the end zone. And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. Now a carry. It's C.J. Anderson. 2 yards on the pickup there. It'll be 2nd and 8.
That's a good play by the guys on the defensive side of the ball. Held him to a gain of 2. And that changes the playbook a little bit now for the guy calling plays. 2nd and 8. Now he's got to probably think about going to the air instead of maybe staying with the ground game.
Here's Simeon now on 2nd down. Over the middle, and it's incomplete. Emmanuel Sanders, the intended receiver. 3rd down here. An early tough test on the opening drive. This is 3rd and 8. Throwing on 3rd down, Simeon. And this is going to be incomplete. Demaryius Thomas, the intended receiver. And 4th down coming up. 4th down, so on is the punter, Riley Dixon. Back deep is Devin Hester. On the return, Hester. 12 yards on the return that time. And the offense will come back onto the field with a 1st and 10. The Seattle now ready to march onto the field. Here's Thomas Rawls with his first carry. And he is going to lose yardage here. A loss of a full 3 yards, and now it's 2nd down.
And there's your standard issue draw play. I like it a lot better when it's actually been set up.
Time running out here on the play clock. Throwing is Wilson. He hits Jermaine Kearse. 8 yards on the completion, but now they face 3rd down.
An ex-teammate used to tell me all the time, I hate experienced quarterbacks because no matter what, you really can't hide what you're doing. And I think that right there, he knew right away where the blitz was coming from, where his primary guy was going to be, and he ended up going to a secondary target for a nice game.
I was just going to ask you, that wasn't the primary target. He's so good at that, isn't he?
I think he knew right away that he wasn't going to get to his primary guy. I think he read that as soon as he got to the line of scrimmage, knew where the pressure was going to come from, and said, I know how to beat that, and that's what he did. Let's give a little credit there. The offensive play caller sensed that the screen pass was available. Whenever you're getting a lot of heavy pressure towards your quarterback, that's when you're thinking about running the screen and using that pressure against the defense. And it worked very well there for a 1st down.
Complete. Richardson has it. It'll be a pickup of 10 yards. And it'll be 2nd and very short.
And when you're playing a quarterback with some experience and some moxie, you enter the danger zone when you decide to blitz him, because if he's able to diagnose as he did on that play, he can hurt you downfield.
He reads defenses so well, doesn't he?
He really does, and the best part about that play for him, I don't think that was his primary target.
I don't think so either.
I think he had the read, figured out where the blitz was coming from, and went to a secondary target for a really nice gain.
So an intentional grounding penalty, and the offense goes back 10 yards.
Yeah, last resort for the quarterback. He couldn't get outside of the tackle box, so he could legally intentionally ground the football. Had to just launch it and take the penalty.
On 3rd down, Wilson. To the sideline, and a nice catch there. Made sure the feet were inbounds, and they were.
Was that a receiver? Yeah, actually it was. It was a running back who was a receiver on the play. I think he's been spending time in the receiver drills getting his feet down.
Well, those guys out of the backfield, they got to be good, agile with their feet. He showed the agility there with a toe tap.
No doubt about it. It's like he'd run to ballet school. Got the toes down and stayed in bounds.
And Denver getting set to take the field.
And on the first drive, 3 and out. And I know that these are professional athletes, but I would imagine sometimes you get the nerves at the beginning of a game still, don't you?
Those don't ever go away. And typically what I've heard from guys and what I remember from playing, if you don't have nerves at the start of a game, it's not going to be a great day for you. You're not really ready to play. So finding a way to harness those nerves and not let them affect you in a negative way, that's what all the guys are looking for. One of the toughest things about playing defensive back is pattern reading, trying to figure out what they're doing. And on that one, they had the fly, just sending a guy downfield with the in route accompanying it, what people call a dagger route, trying to hit the guy underneath after the clear out. In this case, though, they're not able to get it done.
Yeah, they said forget the underneath route. They went for the guy on the fly, but as you said, incomplete.
Well, in that play, the expression, don't blink, you might miss something, certainly applied. That was fast. Defense diagnosed the play, and it was over in a heartbeat.
It's a pickup of 6, but it's not going to be enough. And the punt team's going to be summoned on 4th down. And that looked like some pretty easy yardage there right up the gut.
And he's a guy that has some height to him. So when you don't have to drop a shoulder or create or get through contact or trash, makes it a lot easier to stay upright, see the field, and make a run as we just saw there.
Here's Hester. Nice job bringing that one back. 14 on the return. And this offense will take over right at the midfield stripe with a 1st and 10. The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And they'll be looking to avoid what happened last time, which is punting the football.
But when you look at how teams play the game, that complementary football comes into play. How do I take care of my defense? How do I take care of my offense? Well, the defense is taking care of them in a lot of ways. Now it's time for the offense to jump things up and help their defense out. Give them a little bit of rest.
Yeah, time for them to give them a rest. Took the words right out of my mouth. Another run, but this time it's Rawls. Call it no gain that time as it's going to leave them with a 3rd and about 3 to go. Yeah, I think the blitz there really disrupted the draw.
Yeah, and it's usually when you catch them in a blitz, the draw works pretty well. If you're the offensive coordinator right now, that's visor throwing time, isn't it? Because that's supposed to work in a big way.
And he's going to have the 1st down yardage to the 35.
I don't care how many times you tell the story, it never loses its luster for me. Doug Baldwin, undrafted out of Stanford, and plays like a #1 receiver should in the NFL. I don't care how you cover him. I don't care that his size isn't great. He's the one that typically comes up with the football.
Absolutely. His roots go all the way back to Gulf Breeze, Florida, where he's from, right on the water near Pensacola, and then, of course, to Stanford, and, boy, he's been good. On 2nd down, Wilson. Quick hitter here. It's complete. That one goes for 13 yards, and it moves the sticks.
When you see zone defense and you know you've got a drag route on as your primary call, you've got to be really careful as a passer about how far you let your guy go because he might wander into some tough coverage.
1st down, this is Rawls. And he's going to fight his way forward here for a modest gain. It's a pickup of 4, and it'll bring up 2nd down.
Not a run that you're going to write home about, but still a good 1st down run. That's what an offense calls staying on schedule. 3 to 4 yards on 1st down, you're set up very well for the rest of the drive.
They go again with Rawls. And able to push his way forward here for a good little gain. It's the linebacker, Brandon Marshall, there on the tackle.
Frustrating for a defense, energizing for an offense. Finding a way to create that type of yardage in your running game, that'll make the guys carrying the ball very, very happy.
They'll run with Rawls. And he's able to pick up the 1st down before he's tackled right at the 10.
3rd and 1, partner. No need to be fancy there. Just use some force and move forward and pick up the 1st down.
The play clock's running down. Now it's Wilson. And he'll be hit as he releases it, and that'll fall incomplete.
It's a tried-and-true formula, and I don't think it'll change for as long as we play football. If someone's trying to throw the ball and you can put pressure on them and make it tough, that's only going to help your defense.
Yeah, he's since being hurried. He got rid of it before taking. And he's going to be taken down, sacked back around the 18-yard line. Von Miller coming on the blitz. He gets him for a loss of 7. Way back at the 17 now after the loss. It's 3rd and goal. They'll need to get the play off quickly. Now Wilson. This will be caught at about the 3. 14 yards is the pickup there, but it'll still lead to a 4th down.
I can just see how the Seahawks love nothing more than prior to any game, if someone questions Doug Baldwin and his skills.
Because that chip on his shoulder.
Chip. You talk about boulder, all right? And that's what fuels him. Remember, undrafted out of Stanford, has worked his way into being one of the top receivers in the league. And I don't think he wears that number 89 by accident. He reminds me a lot of Steve Smith in attitude and now in playmaking ability.
And 104 yards and a touchdown in that wild card game to prove it. Here's Anderson as they begin this series on the ground. 2 yards on the carry there, and it'll be second down.
That first down play, all you want to do is wedge out any type of space and try and create enough room. If you have to run the punter out there, he can successfully complete the punt.
Yeah, didn't get a ton there, but at least some positive yardage. Again, Anderson. And he'll be taken down for a loss back at the 3. He lost 2 there, and it's third down. Well, there they went blitz defensively, Charles, and things were paved well coming from the linebacker position.
I love the way that you described it, paved well. Oftentimes, the guy who gets home on the blitz, he's going to get all the credit. But his teammates did all the dirty work, right? They ran into people on purpose. They sometimes tugged on jerseys to hold linemen to create space and gaps. And that play finished off really, really well. Well conceived, well designed, and even better executed.
Back alongside Charles Davis, I'm Brandon Gaudin. It's Bronco football. Here's Riley Dixon now as he's on to punt for Denver. He's been a busy man here in this first half as he gets it away. Returnable here from the 38. So possession goes over here on the punt. And it'll be Seahawk football, 1st and 10. The Seattle offense now set to come back out on the field. And last time, they had it 4th and goal, rolled the dice, didn't get it. Now they've got to put that behind them, try to put together another drive.
A simple tip of the cap, a nod of the head to the defense. Congratulations, you got us last time. But you didn't hold us the whole time. We got down to position where we were able to be in position to score. Let's go ahead and attack again. Continue to have that kind of confidence. Not worry about the one play that didn't allow them to get into the end zone.
And this time they'll be trying to get it into the end zone. We'll see what they do. Here's Wilson. It's caught on the left side by Baldwin. A nice pick up there, 10 yards, and it'll move the sticks. So here we go, 1st and 10 now. Play clock winding down. 1 receiver left, 2 to the right. Wilson, the grab made by Kearse over the middle. And inside the 20 before he's brought down. 18 yards on the pickup there. And it'll give the Seahawks a 1st down. So an excellent throw and an excellent catch there.
Zone coverage, which means you just have to find the open areas in between defenders. That's exactly what happened on that play.
The intended target, Doug Baldwin. And it's 2nd down. Offense still needing 10 yards. 2nd down. Rawls, the lone man in the backfield. Wilson, and he takes a shot on the release as this will be incomplete.
When defenses get to the quarterback that quickly, a lot of times it's called a jailbreak. It wasn't quite that fast, but fast enough that he had no time to look downfield and set himself to throw the ball. And as he tried to do that, he was hit and forced an incompletion.
Now Wilson backing up. Pressure comes, and Wilson's going to go down. Von Miller in there to drop him for a loss of 10. And it'll be 4th and long. And we say it all the time, have to be able to get rid of the ball sooner than that.
You have to help your offensive line out. They're going to protect you as best they can. And if you get 3 to 5 seconds to throw the ball, they're doing a really nice job. But when you hold it and give up a sack, you're really almost discrediting their work.
So after slogging through a scoreless first quarter, we have action on the scoreboard. A field goal makes it 3-0.
Well, with these two offenses, we weren't going to stay 0-0 forever, were we? I'm not sure that this opens the floodgates, but I doubt that's the last scoring we're going to see.
Now a 1st down throw, Simeon. Sanders has it over the middle. And he's able to take this one up to the 35-yard line. Give him 10 yards on the pickup, and that'll make it 2nd and a foot or so.
Good throw, good catch, but I really like the route. The drag and being able to run away from defenders, hard to stick with them for that long.
Yeah, better against man than zone, or
better against man, because now you're running away from someone and you're not running into a defensive player in another zone.
It's a 10-yard pickup, and it moves the chains.
To win any route, you've got to break down the defender, and that's exactly what happened here on this really nicely executed curl route.
They'll come out in the pistol. First down. Here's the run with Anderson. Trying to run inside, but nothing there. It's a loss of a yard there, and now second down.
Partner, we're into the second quarter, and I guess you can kind of look at it both ways. The offense, they've got to figure out what they're going to do because they haven't scored any points. But if you're the defense, you're feeling great about what you got going on. The only concern you have, if you get to the half, what adjustments will the offense make to try to defeat you?
Demaryius Thomas, the intended receiver, and that'll make it third down. And the offense looking to pick up the first down after the second down incompletion.
A nickel look by Seattle on third down.
Yep, 5 defensive backs now. Throwing on third down, Simeon. He's got time. And he'll just toss it away. So he throws it away, and that brings up fourth down. Here's Riley Dixon now. He's been terrific so far. Well, they've had a pretty frustrating first half here offensively, and that just continued there with that incompletion.
Yeah, definitely frustrating for them, but heartening for the other guys. The stop troops, they're enjoying things right now because they've made it very difficult for them throughout the half.
And a nice job here to down this one right on the 5-yard line. Here come the Seahawks now, set to take over on offense. And they're not going to play this conservative, I don't think. They had the field goal last time, and they're up, but they're looking to put a drive in the end zone.
Oh, I agree with you totally. No one goes out on the field and says, all right, let's just settle for 3, except in certain situations, trying to ice a game, that sort of deal. Most of the time, it's end zone, and that's what you're thinking, and I believe that's exactly what they're thinking as they begin this one.
Yeah, no quarterback ever goes out there saying, hey, let's get 3, right?
Not one that I've ever met. So much goes into a successful play, doesn't it? How about that play action there, freezing the defense just enough to bring the tight end free downfield for the completion.
Billy Wynn in there to make the sack. He buries him for a loss of 10.
Now this is where field awareness comes into play. He's getting perilously close to his own goal line, and after that sack, backed up to his own 2. And the Broncos go to a nickel set on third down.
Yeah, they've got an extra DB out there. Oh, and this is going to wind up a safety. And, Charles, at some point, you can't keep worrying about big play. Can this be perfect? You just have to get the ball out of the end zone.
And in the offensive huddle, that was discussed when they called the play. Just get out of the end zone. But you know what's interesting? A lot of the times in the defensive huddle, they actually call a set and then say at the end of it, get a safety. So it's preach, it's coach, it's thought about.
And Denver getting set to take the field. And a tight game after punting last time. See if they can get something going on this drive.
As they head to the field now, with the game this close, you've got to feel there's a sense of urgency for them going on offense right now. But they have to do it without letting panic creep in and affect their play.
Charles, switching gears as we glance at the NFL playoff picture and what's left. You got the Blue Bloods remaining. This decade, New England has been in the divisional round all 7 years. Seattle and Green Bay now 6 of the 7. That's consistency.
That it is, and that means in the divisional round, you have teams like Houston and Atlanta that are really trying to crash the party. Neither one of them has been to a Super Bowl yet.
Yeah, we'll see if they can get that done. Should be an interesting weekend of football. They'll run it. Here's Anderson. And he's got a first down as he's up to the 48. 5 yards is the pickup there as that extends this drive.
I don't know about you, but that almost felt like old-time football there. 3rd and 2 is not necessarily just a running down anymore. A lot of times they want to throw the ball. They went back to the roots and powered forward.
Rush coming, and he's taken down. K.J. Wright from his outside linebacker spot, forcing the sack for a loss of 8.
Now, we talk about players blitzing all the time. I often laugh and sometimes call it just straight-ahead pursuit. What a running start right back to the backfield for him.
Yeah, it really didn't give anybody a chance to get up there and stop him.
No, I mean, that's really, really difficult. You're asking a whole lot anyway, but when he gets that kind of a start and comes through clean, oftentimes the advantage definitely goes to the defensive player.
And some secondary help here for the defense in the nickel on 3rd and long.
Here we go.
3rd and long. It's Simeon. He's got his man here. It's Green. And he's going to get this down to the 35-yard line.
And there's a completion to the tight end. And look at the size of these players nowadays. At that spot, 6'4", 6'5", and up. A lot of guys used to be basketball players, somehow came back to football. That's really good for the game of football. You're getting better athleticism, great hand-eye coordination, guys who know how to control their bodies when they run their routes.
Now it's 2nd and 7.
Tough day, tough sledding right there, and it's been that way the entire game. Not a whole lot of room to ramble for him.
Yeah, you're right. It's been that way all afternoon. Didn't get a whole lot better there. It goes as a gain of 8, and it moves the chains.
Partner, it's a lot of fun watching the NFL now, isn't it? Because when the big fella runs routes, it used to be when we were kids, he'd run about 3 different routes, and that was it. Now he can run anything and catch the balls we just saw there.
And he'll get a couple here down to the 22.
I do know from experience that when you slow down someone's running game, you're now doing the dictating on defense. And guess what? Now you're getting ready to tee off on their quarterback because they have to throw it all the time. But you still have to be alert for the draws and other plays of that nature to make sure you don't get hurt.
Completes it to Norwood. And they'll bring him down at the 13-yard line. They get 9 out of that one, and as a result, the drive continues. And a really long drive here, and it goes on and on. Thomas, the lone receiver, left. From the red zone now, Simeon. Nowhere to go here. He lost the football, and the Seahawks have picked it up. Following the fumble recovery, it's Wilson. A fight for the football, and it's intercepted. It's Chris Harris with a pick, and they will set up shop in enemy territory at the 42-yard line. And Denver getting set to take the field. And they'll be looking to atone for last time's mistake of fumbling inside the red zone. Certainly they don't want to do that again.
And so much emphasis placed on red zone offense. I mean, you have periods devoted in practice just for that because everyone knows how vital it is to put points on the board when you've entered that part of the field. And to come away with nothing, that's difficult for a team to handle.
And difficult, and now we'll see if they can make it less difficult on themselves on this drive. Here's Simeon. It's caught by Sanders. The 5 yards on the play there as the drive will continue. They'll put 2 receivers left, 2 to the right. On first down, it's Simeon. And he's got it, complete to Fowler. 7 yards, the pickup on the pitch and catch. 3 yards to go on second down. Again, Simeon. And an incomplete pass. That'll stop the clock here with just under a minute to play in half number 1. 3rd down and 3.
I think that's a big-time play there because the slant route is really hard to cover because the timing is so quick. But able to see it, diagnose it, and get to the football, that's why he's able to bat it away.
And he picks up the first down yardage as he takes it down to the 16. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. On first down, Simeon. Can't find anyone open. And that's going to be incomplete. So he got his hands a little too far outside. The ref caught him, threw the flag. Down here in the red zone, you know your tight end's going to be a favorite target. Couldn't hang on.
And sometimes they just have to get out of their own head because they understand how tight windows are there and how many bodies are there. And sometimes they just overthink it and don't catch the ball.
Simeon now to throw. He throws and he hits the slant route to Thomas. Now whistles come in. We're going to get a timeout here by the offense. So that means they're down to 1 remaining here as we head toward halftime. Simeon throwing again. Looking for someone to throw to. And he'll go right back to Thomas, complete again. And now the Seahawks are going to take a timeout here on defense. It's just their first, so they'll have 2 remaining here before we get to halftime. 7th play of the drive upcoming here on 3rd and 6. Throwing on 3rd down, Simeon. And that is incomplete. He was trying to get it to Benny Fowler that time. And it's 4th down. So on 4th down, on comes Brandon McManus and the field goal unit for the Broncos. And McManus able to put it through. And with that, they'll take a 2-point lead here in quarter number 2. So they kick it through to take the lead. There is a little bit of time left, though, here in the 2nd quarter.
And while they're concerned about not giving up a big return or giving up points themselves going into the half, how good do they feel, though, putting points on the board themselves right near the end of the first half?
The Seattle now ready to march onto the field. And with time quickly fading here in the 2nd quarter, not sure how aggressively, offensively they want to play this.
I think we'll find out just how much they trust their guys in this situation if they decide to take a shot.
And he just gets rid of it, throws it away. The wise move there, looked like nobody open, now 2nd down.
I hope I don't sound too rah-rah on that one, but that's the exact right throw. Either your receiver gets it or no one gets it. Give him a lot of credit for being really precise with it.
Got rid of it, no one got it. 15 yards through the air and a 1st down.
I do have to admit, I like it when it all comes together. When the top part, catching the football, right, whether you're catching it with your hands or cradling it, comes together with the legs, in this case, the feet.
Wilson hit. It's loose. It's out. Fumble. Now hold everything here. We're going to get a timeout by the offense. So as they take it over, we step aside. And they'll indeed take a knee. So we have reached and hello, I guess Larry's halftime show is buttoned through. And we are moving on and ready to go for the 3rd quarter. Fielded about a yard deep. And he'll take this across the 25. Couple extra yards up to the 27-yard line. And out now come the Seahawks. They're down here, but very much in this game. What's the tonality of a coach's talk when a game is within striking distance like this at intermission?
Typically, what they're doing is emphasizing the things that went well in the first half and wanting more of that. Sure, you've got to go over some of the errors and clean up some things because there's a reason you're down. But overall, I think they want to stay positive, stay up with this team. We're just starting the 2nd half, and we've got the football. Let's go ahead and punch it in, and then we'll take it from there.
See how that recipe works. He hits Baldwin right side. 17 yards on the pickup there, and the drive will continue.
Love the call by the offensive coordinator, recognizing the situation very well, calling for the play-action pass, and completing it.
Time running out here on the play clock. They go play action here on 1st down. He's going to loft it deep right sideline. And this is intercepted, but they'll say out of bounds. Oh, very close to a turnover there in the end zone.
They decided to air it out a little bit on that play, take a shot downfield, but the coverage was really nice. Able to get a hand in and tip it away.
They come out here in the eye. To throw is Wilson. Under pressure, he's going to go down. Look at this, way back around the 43.
Partner, I know the ball security is preached like crazy, but every now and then you've got to know when to get rid of the football and save a little bit of yardage if you're a quarterback.
Because now if you're the offensive coordinator, what does it do if it was 3rd and 10 versus 3rd and much longer as it is now?
Yeah, it changes everything in terms of play calling and the pressure you might expect to face on the very next down. Had to throw the ball away and save the yardage. He didn't get it done.
And now a 1st down following that long gain. And there they went crossing route against the zone defense. What do you think of that?
It takes real coordination between the passer and the receiver because you got to read those zones and where the open spots are and be on the same page with the guy throwing the football. Because sometimes you're throwing it in front of the zone. Sometimes you're throwing it between the zones. Sometimes the receiver's going to just kind of find a spot and what we call sit down and present himself to the quarterback and throw it there. It's a tough read, but when they're in sync, it's really effective.
Flushed out right. And he's just going to throw this one out of bounds here. Nowhere to go with it. Incomplete. Some pretty good coverage there, and both of these defenses, they've had good coverage throughout this one.
No doubt about it. And in today's NFL, where we're used to a bit more scoring, this feels almost like a well-pitched game in baseball on both sides.
There's Baldwin. Touchdown, Seattle. Doug Baldwin, a 16-yard touchdown. And the Seahawks are going to retake the lead. And he's a little bit on the shorter side as a receiver. Maybe sometimes for the defense, tough to find the little guys, right?
Yeah, sometimes they get lost in the traffic, but usually what it means is that rather than just winning with height or even speed, they use their quickness to find a way to get open.
Well, tall, short, wide, skinny, whatever, there it results in a touchdown. So now a look at the Broncos as they head back out there for their first possession of the second half. They trail offense, first time to touch the ball in quarter 3, and we'll see what they can do.
And I can't wait to see what they have planned, because some teams script to start a half. Other teams just go, okay, these are the sequence of plays we want to run. These things worked well for us. And sometimes they throw in that big chunk play right away.
Shocker.
Try and get after them early and try and create a big play to give themselves some momentum.
See what they have up their sleeve. But he's going to lose yardage here. Back to his own 18. It's a loss of 2 there, bringing up second down.
Wasn't that long ago that the NFL guys really didn't adopt much from the college game. But one thing that has crept in there is spreading things out, opening things up, not even just in tempo, but maybe getting better line splits and spreading the field. I think that would be a great strategy right now to try and open things up in the run game. Let's make this one simple. What a catch, especially the finishing part of getting his feet in bounds, toe tapping, and, of course, foot dragging.
A little tapestry, if you will.
Oh, I like it.
Here's Simeon. Norwood's got it, complete. And they'll bring him down at the 27-yard line. Just a 5-yard pickup, and it leads to 4th down. Here's Riley Dixon now, as he's on for the 5th time here today.
They didn't get the first down, but I have to say I do like the call. I like what they were trying to do. Try and hit your receiver on the run and see if he can pick it up, keep it on his feet, get a little rack yardage.
Yeah, but a nice job defensively to get to him and keep him short of the first. Oh, he nearly broke that one. As it stands, though, a heck of a 36-yard run back. And the Seahawks will have great field position to start this drive. They take over on the short side of the field. In the slot on the right is Graham. On first down, Wilson. And he's going to be sacked. They sack him back right at the midfield stripe. A well-designed corner blitz that gets him for a loss of 8 yards.
The game plan for any defense is finding ways to make a quarterback uncomfortable in the pocket. When you bring pressure from all angles.
Under a heavy rush, and down he goes. Brandon Marshall in there to pick up his 2nd sack now of the afternoon. So a big sack on 2nd down. Now let's see what the offense has in store for 3rd. The play clock's running down. Here's Wilson. It's caught on the left side by Curse. An incredible play there. They do get big yardage, but they're still stopped a yard or 2 short, and it's 4th down.
Boy, they had a lot of real estate to make up there, but what a big-time play for them. Nice completion, excellent game. Now they're in 4th and manageable.
Just a little short, though, with that marker. A little bit of a lower trajectory there on the deep kick, and it worked.
Had to do it because he had to drive it out low because of the length of the kick. Able to do that, got it above the defense and over the post.
And no run back here. This will be a touchback, and it comes out to the 25-yard line. And Denver getting set to take the field. And they're coming off a 3-and-out, my friend.
I think they've got to look at that play sheet and go to a spot that they haven't gone before. Time to shake things up a little bit to try and get this offense moving.
Okay, so how do you do that? How do you shake things up?
You look at what you've called before, realize it hasn't worked
so
something
well,
else. And maybe try and find one of those special plays from one of your better players, and maybe try and hit something big and get things going in the excitement area.
Here we go now. 3-19. To throw on second is Simeon. And he's going to be brought down. Back at his own 6-yard line. K.J. Wright in there to get him his second sack now of the afternoon. Well, it was second long. Now it's third and even longer. They're going in the wrong direction here.
It's because they're moving exactly the way they want to, but you're exactly right. Definitely going in the wrong direction for the offensive guys.
Drops it underneath for Booker. 14 yards, but they're still well shy of a first as that leads to fourth down.
So many times you hear today's NFL described as a space game. Get your best players into space with the football in their hands. That's why sometimes you just swing it out to your runner, get him out in the flat, and let him have a chance to make people miss an open field.
Fielded just inside the 30. Call it a 48-yard punt. Give them 9, though, on the return. And possession will switch hands, 1st and 10. The Seattle now ready to march out of the field. And fortunate to get points on the board last time. They had to hit a really long field goal to do so.
The kickers in today's game are so good and so skilled.
And he's going to be wrapped up and driven down. Von Miller getting him once again. His 3rd sack of the afternoon. Man, he got in there so quickly, Charles. What could the offense have done to adjust and account for that?
But what you're hoping is that you figure out and you see and get a clue that maybe there's going to be some pressure coming at you, and you change the blocking schemes. Maybe you go to max protection. The biggest one is maybe you bring your running back in to try and keep you clean. But in that case, that didn't happen. 0 accountability, and a sack resulted.
And on 3rd down, a nickel formation here defensively. Here's Wilson to throw. And got his man complete. An excellent pickup of 34 yards.
Now that play will end up on the highlights, and you'll see it all over the place. But what you won't see, the offensive line that bought the extra time, that allowed for the big completion downfield, those guys made that play possible.
Now a play fake here on 1st down. He's got time in the pocket. Into a double team, and it's intercepted. It's Chris Harris with a pick. The Broncos offense now gets ready to head back onto the field. And on the last go-around, they really couldn't get anything going.
They had to punt from deep inside their own territory, which means you're going to lose the field position battle as a general rule. What they're looking for now is a little more consistency, move the ball at least a few times on offense, get a couple of 1st downs, and hopefully flip the field.
Yeah, just something to build off of. That's what they're looking for here.
We always talk about having to read defenses and how complicated that is. Well, this was an excellent read. Read the pressure and got rid of the football before it even got to him for a nice game.
And when they're blitzing like that, running back usually a good spot to go with a football?
Without a doubt, because he's right in your sight line or he's near you. So you're able to just get it to him easily. And once he gets in space, that's usually a good matchup for him. Partner, we've got a hot second here. Let's talk about the AFC divisional round matchups, because both are rematches from the regular season. Houston did compete very well against New England. I think Jacoby Brissett was playing quarterback for the Patriots. And Kansas City, the same thing against Pittsburgh. I think Pittsburgh was up big in that ballgame.
Yeah, Pittsburgh rolled 43-14 in that one. And you're right, Brissett started week 3. Pats beat the Texans 27-0. Hard to go against the Patriots. I think the Steelers and Chiefs should be a fun one.
I agree with you totally on that, because I think that Kansas City-Pittsburgh game, they're the sleeper for going to the Super Bowl, the winner of that one. One hallmark of good defenses is understanding the game, understanding positioning, and tackling immediately in the secondary after catches. I think we just saw that on display right there.
Got to him before he ever had a chance to think about turning it upfield. So a change of possession here on the punt. And out will come the offense as they take over. And the Seahawks get ready to trot out on the field. Looked like they had something going last drive. Then the interception happened. Will they recover?
The memory they need to keep with them is that they did have something going. They were moving the ball on offense.
Nowhere to escape, and he goes down. Todd Davis in there to drop him, and it'll be a loss of about 8.
Well, that play was the very definition of fast, quick, and in a hurry. Suddenly, he was there.
In a blink of an eye, that happened fast, and a big sack. Looks like the defense in press coverage here. On second down, Wilson finding time. The grab made by Curse over the middle. And they're able to get this one across the 35.
One thing I can say pretty safely, that route is not called if you don't have a guy who can throw the ball and put some mustard on it. Because if you're going to lollipop it in the middle of the field, bad things usually happen. It takes a strong-arm guy who can rifle it in there, and they were able to successfully complete that one.
Here we go on 1st and 15. From the shotgun, Wilson. And it pops free. The collision there jarred the ball loose and brings up second down.
It looked like they had something there, but I think that he was thinking about running with the football before he actually hauled it in, and that led to a big drop.
Now Wilson on second down. It's caught outright by Graham. They'll wind up getting 10 back there as it'll leave them with a 3rd and 5.
Coaches always harp on the quarterback reading the defense and getting it to the open man. That's good recognition there. And how about what he did after the catch?
Yeah, hit your tight end, let him get some rack.
Yeah, when he gets moving, not many guys want to come up and put a hit on him, do they?
C.J. Procise was the intended target, and that'll bring up a 4th down. Here's John Ryan now. On for his second punt. He'd take a repeat of his first.
And I think the end result, knocking the ball away, was a product of understanding where they were on the field, understanding how many yards they needed to pick up the first down, and tightening their coverage accordingly. Gave them no gaps, no spaces, no real air in which to catch the football, and end up making a really nice play.
Now this Broncos offensive unit ready to head back out onto the field. And last time out there to punt the football away. Anything positive possibly to take from that?
There always is when you're punting.
And he's going to go down for a 4th time today, and this time the result is a safety. So an incredibly costly 2 points are on a couple of levels.
No question about it, Brandon. 1, you lose the football and you've got to kick it away. And 2, you make it a 2-score game.
The Seahawks offense now, they get ready to head back onto the field. They've got the lead. Last time had to punt it, though. What's the key to this drive?
I think it's leverage.
Leverage.
Big guys up front. You know the motivational speech on the sideline is, guys, give us an opportunity. Protect the passer, create space for our runners, and let's go ahead and get these guys. Low man wins. Let's go do it on this drive.
We'll watch that leverage on this drive. Second down now after the pass completion. They'll need to get the play off quickly. On second down, here's Wilson. And Graham's got it over the middle. It's a pickup of 6 and good enough to move the chains.
They gave up the completion there, but this is what zone defenses count on. Catching the ball and not much run after the catch.
On first down, Wilson. And he finds his tight end, Graham. A gain of 6 there on first.
And there's another completion to the tight end. And let's face it, it is hard to overthrow a 6'6" target.
It is indeed. Quarterbacks like their speed guys. They like that huge 6'6" target that they've got in him.
They really do, and it reminds me of what one great tight end told me.
And no escaping this time as he'll go down. They got him for a sack. DeMarcus Ware in there to bring him down for a loss of 7. Great job defensively. I think he was trying to go through his progressions, find someone to get rid of the football. Before he knew it, he was on his back.
So that just brings us right back to what you said in the beginning.
Wilson hit. It's loose. It's out. Fumble. And his guys are going to take over at the 39-yard line. The Bronco offense now set to come back out onto the field. And last time they surrendered to safety, we know they don't want to do that again.
That is just one of those oddities in scoring that we get. And it's just so strange to see that go up on the board. And then you got to make sure that that doesn't happen to your team again. They've got to take care of the ball.
But, boy, it juices up the defense.
Oh, without a doubt. That's a great way to score some points.
Nice job there, right, of just going through the progressions, finding the open man, even if it wasn't for a 25-yard gain.
Everything does not have to be spectacular. The mundane works pretty well in this league, as we just saw there.
Left side here to Sanders. And brought down, but not before they're inside the 25. Play fake here on first down. He's going to let it go deep for the end zone. Into double coverage, and it's intercepted. A great read, and it's picked off. And nothing there on the return. They've got the football, but they'll have to start this drive at their own 4-yard line. The Seahawks offense now, they get set to go back to work. And last drive, obviously not what you're looking for. You've got the lead. You've got to protect the football.
So, in other words, someone got lucky because they've been moving the ball really well and wearing them down. In this case, though, giving up the football doesn't make them very happy. They can't wait to get back out there and atone for it.
Yeah, try to atone for it here on this drive.
Got to give credit where it's due. Really nice defense on that play. The pitch and catch was successful, but not any run after it.
On second down, Wilson. And Graham's got it. Complete. That catch good for only a yard, and it'll be third down.
There's a completion to the tight end, and I think they were looking at something out of central casting, frankly.
Absolutely.
I mean,
size, the hands.
Speed. I mean, can flat out run. You put that whole package together, you light up the eyes of an offensive coordinator, don't you?
Complete. Richardson has it. And they're going to have this one up near the 30-yard line. And a nice gain of 21 yards. And defensively, they just don't seem to have much of an answer for this passing game.
Not at all. Look at the confidence that's exhibited here. With that type of a lead, clock on their side, instead of running it, they're still throwing it, trying to pick up first downs and keeping the football.
So the penalty by the offense, and now they face a 1st and 15. To throw again is Wilson. They set up the screen to Rawls. And he'll get it up near the 35, right at the 34 here. That one good for 10 yards. And that'll make it a second down. He's played a great game. It continues right there, even with this lead, confident to throw the pass and have the reception made.
There's no doubt who the leader of their team is there? There's no doubt who they want to ride all the way to the finish. Because strategy would tell you, run the football, run the clock down. Instead, they're letting him throw it because they feel that confident in what he's getting done. Even in today's NFL, when we think of the tight end position now as really a glorified wide receiver, we're still asking a lot of those guys. They have to block as well, and every now and then, they don't come down with the football.
On third down, Prosise. And the hole closes quickly. He gets it across the 35 to the 36-yard line.
Well, this was just simply excellent defense. On this third down, they had to be alert for the possibility of a pass, but that didn't stop them at all from understanding what was going on when they decided to run the football, and they just swarmed and stopped them for almost no gain.
And that is incomplete. Boy, it looked like he had it and dropped it. And the Broncos are going to get the football back in great field position. And now the Broncos offense, they get set to head back onto the field. And following the interception, just any interception, are you a little bit more cautious when you start that next drive, or no, you just throw that out the window?
I think you are. I don't think that there's any way you can run back out there and go, totally didn't affect me. Let's just go ahead and be loose with the football again. You're going to take care of it, but you have to be careful about being too cautious because now you can't run any offense at all.
Still want to attack. We'll see how they attack them here. A good start there on this fourth quarter drive. They need more of what we just saw.
Down a couple of scores. There's still time. All right, it's not like they're totally out of it, but they have to score quickly, and they're going to need some big-time plays, chunk plays, explosive plays. They need yardage on each snap. But we always talk about good down and distance, allowing offenses to expand their playbook. Well, 2nd and 2, that means your playbook's wide open. You can run just about anything. A lot of times.
And they're going to get him. He's sacked back around the 28. Mike Bennett in there to pick up his 2nd sack now of the afternoon. Boy, he came in off the edge so quickly there.
Look out, because that's exactly what it was being shouted by the offensive lineman to his quarterback because he had no chance to block it.
He throws and he hits the slant route to Thomas. It's a pickup of 12, and that'll set up a third down. So the offense needing 4 yards. It's third down.
That was a nicely run slant route, and what the receiver's trying to do is make the defender think he's going upfield for a deeper route, and then breaks it off, usually after about 3 to 4 steps, and cuts towards the middle of the field. And now what he's trying to do is use his body to keep the defender away from the football and get the quarterback a really nice target.
A shotgun snap for Simeon. A hit as he throws there, incomplete.
We just saw another example of really good defensive football, which has led to the cushion that they have in this game. Got to him once again, knocked him on the ground, forced an incompletion.
Yeah, they've set the tone. It's one thing to set the tone, another to come in here on the road and set the tone. Simeon. And they're going to get to him. A sack. Sack back at the 9-yard line. Atama Rubin in there to drop him as the clock continues to roll. Now it's Simeon. And this is intercepted, and that should do it. Picked off by Deshaun Shedd. The Seahawks offense now, they get ready to come back onto the field. They're in a good spot. 2-possession game, barely, but a 2-possession game here late. Now they just have to put this game on ice.
Let's face it, right now, they're talking about ball security, taking care of it, not allowing anything crazy to happen, because we've seen nutty things happen down the stretch, but they also have the security of the scoreboard. With that,
now the Broncos are going to take a timeout. It's just their first. They've got 2 more to use here in the final stages. The Seattle now ready to march onto the field. They'll come out in the pistol. And this offense last time turned it over, went for it on 4th, didn't get it. And now the Broncos will burn another timeout here. That'll leave them with just 1 remaining in this 4th quarter of play. They run with a power back. Rolls. And he's able to get it to the 33. Good enough for a first down. Now hang on here. Timeout called by the defense. It'll be their 3rd and final timeout, so as they talk things over, we'll step aside. They'll run it now out of the gun. And hard running's going to get him over the 40 to the 42. A good run there on first down, and it'll leave them with a 2nd and 2. Well, they'll take that every time with a lead. First down, 4th quarter, getting 8 yards. You love that.
They will take it, and you have to ask the defensive guys, why did you give it? I mean, you know the situation. You're down, have to stop them, have to get the football back. But 8 yards on first down puts them back on their heels.
And they'll lose a yard that time, and that's going to lead to a 3rd down. Well, partner, even though my phone alarm failed me this morning and I missed our AM workout, we still made it through this thing together, didn't we?
Well, you always know I need extra workouts just to keep up with you, so it doesn't matter. But thanks for sharing a booth, and thanks for being our quarterback.
Yeah, you're the quarterback. Always a pleasure, my friend. So that's a wrap for Charles Davis. I'm Brandon Gaudin, and this has been a presentation of the NFL on EA Sports. For more, check us out at easports.com. So long, everybody.